Do you have any areas of your life that you feel like God is calling you forward, but you're hesitant? You need some more affirmation. You need some more confirmation. I truly pray that today, as we get into Judges chapter 4, that you receive that you receive the boost and the push and the encouragement. There's some interesting facts and stories in this chapter, but that's one that I pray hits you. So come on in and join me. Hey y'all, I'm Kaela. Welcome back to His Word, My Walk. Let's keep going in the book of Judges. I'm actually excited for who we get to meet in this one, and there's quite the story. So if you haven't read Judges chapter 4 yet, just hit pause. Again, I'm here reading with you, but I want this to be like a hangout, like just a hangout with a friend after you've spent your time with God, after you've gone through the chapter. Maybe you've journaled through it. Maybe you've asked yourself some questions. You've done a little research. Let this be like a recap after that. Oh my goodness. This is a scandalous chapter. So let's get right into Judges chapter 4. After Ehud's death, remember the left hand with the shank on the right thigh into the stomach. It was gone in all the fat. Okay. After Kayla's notes version of chapter 3. After Ehud's death, the Israelites again did evil in the Lord's sight. The cycle continues. And again, as we continue to see this cycle, sometimes we focus on, or I have focused on, are you kidding me, Israelites? Yet I want to shift my focus to, wow, God, like you are that gracious and that merciful. Let's keep going. After Ehud's death, the Israelites again did evil in the Lord's sight. So the Lord turned them over to King Jabin of Hazor, a Canaanite king. The commander of his army was Sisera, who lived in Harosheth Hagoyim. Sisera, who had 900 iron chariots, ruthlessly oppressed the Israelites for 20 years. Then the people of Israel cried out to the Lord for help. I just don't get why so long. Why so long? Also, why would the Lord turn them over to Sisera? Like this is feels like not the worst of the worst, but kind of up there, right? The commander of the army of Sisera, who lived in, I don't even know, Harosheth Hagoyim. Sisera, who had 900 iron chariots, ruthlessly oppressed the Israelites for 20 years. For 20 years, ruthlessly oppressed the Israelites. And after 20 years, then the people of Israel cried out to the Lord for help. How many generations are we going through here? Right? Like, is this the same Israelites? Also, where is this? What territory? Which Israelites? This can't be millions of, where actually is this happening? But is this the same Israelites who, after 8 years, they cried out and the Lord came through? And then they did it again. And after 18 years, they cried out and the Lord came through. And then after, 40 or something crazy? 40 years? And then they cried out and the Lord came through. Now it's after 20 years. Why would you not learn that the Lord comes through and cry out on day one? And then let's examine ourselves. What have I experienced God in? I've experienced his goodness. I've experienced his grace. I've experienced his healing. I've experienced his touch. Yet I wait until I'm fully spiraled before I reach out, before I ask him for help, before I ask him to take it away, before I ask him to come in, and before I'm getting frustrated with the Israelites. I'm also trying to focus on the mercy of our God. And I'm examining myself too. Deborah, the wife of Lapidoth, was a prophet who was judging Israel at the time. Okay, woman, prophet, where else in the Bible do we hear about women? This may be something that you've been taught or not taught, that is a hot topic or not hot topic. But there's other evidence in the Bible of God using women as well. Deborah, the wife of Lapidoth, was a prophet who was judging Israel at the time. Judging Israel at the time, as in judge from the bench, as in political, as in military, as in all the things. That's maybe why it's a little bit different for it to be a woman. She would sit under the palm of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the hill country of Ephraim, and the Israelites would go to her for judgment. We can see where that is on a map, right? Every time they say like hill country of Ephraim, I'm like, oh yeah, that's where Joshua lived and died, See how we're retaining information, sort of? One day, she sent for Barak, son of Abinoam, who lived in Kadesh in the land of Naphtali. She said to him, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, commands you. Call out 10,000 warriors from the tribes of Naphtali and Zebulun at Mount Tabor. And I will call out Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army, along with his chariots and warriors to the Kishon River. There, I will give you victory over him." Whoa. First of all, how come she didn't say the Lord will give you victory over him, right? Like that stood out to me. How come she didn't say the Lord will give you victory? I will give you victory over him. This is a prophetess. So how did prophets speak in that day? What did they know? What did they not know? Do a little research into prophets. It's actually super interesting. And maybe eventually, I'm sure eventually, it's a ways because we got to get through Psalms and Proverbs, but we'll get to some prophets. But that's what she says to him, right? I will call out Sisera, commander of Jabin's army, along with his chariots. Remember how many? 900 of them. 900 iron chariots, along with his chariots and warriors, to the Kishon River. There I will give you victory over him. Barak told her, I will go, but only if you go with me. But only if you, was that an insecurity thing? Like, why wouldn't he go by himself? Very well, she replied. I will go with you, but you will receive no honor in this venture for the Lord's victory over Sisera. But you will receive no honor in this venture, for the Lord's victory over Sisera will be at the hands of a woman. Can you imagine being Barak in that moment? Like, she just said, I'm going to go and lead the troops and have victory. But then I said, I can't go alone. Will you come with me? And then she says, yeah, I'll go with you, but you're not going to get any of the credit. He's going to die at the hands of a woman. In their day and age? Like, what is he thinking now? Is this kind of like a you messed up kind of thing? So Deborah went with Barak to Kadesh. At Kadesh, Barak called together the tribes of Zebulun and Naphtali, and 10,000 warriors went up with him. Deborah also went with him. That just made me think Zebulun and Naphtali, where do they fit in the tribes? Are they blood brothers? Remember we read like the other ones in the previous chapters? Or is it just like border towns or border territories? It'd be best to grab those two together. Now, Heber the Kenite, a descendant of Moses' brother-in-law, Hobab, had moved away from the other members of his tribe and pitched his tent by the oak of Zanamim near Kadesh. Okay. Heber the Kenite, a descendant of Moses' brother-in-law, Hobab. Have we heard of Moses' brother-in-law before? Had moved away from the other members of his tribe and pitched his tent by the oak of Zananim near Kadesh. Why did he move away and pitch his tent? Like, was he cast out? Was he just kind of an outsider? Why would he do that? When Sisera was told that Barak, son of Abinoam, had gone up to Mount Tabor, he called for all 900 of his iron chariots and all of his warriors, and they marched from Harashbeth Hagoyim to the Kishon River. He called all of them. Look, they're going to try to fight me. He called all of them. Then Deborah said to Barak, get ready. This is the day the Lord will give you victory over Sisera, for the Lord is marching ahead of you. Talk about a boost, right? Talk about a confidence boost. Look, remember before Barak was like, I don't know, I'll go, but only if you go with me. Okay, I'll go with you. But she had already said before that, hey, He's given you the victory. Like, you will have the victory. Yeah, but I'm not really sure. I don't want to go by myself. You know, do I always want someone else to confirm it? Do I always want someone else to go with me? Do I always want someone else to stand up on my behalf too? Then Deborah said to Barak, "Get ready. This is the day the Lord will give you victory over Sisera, for the Lord is marching ahead of you." How many days has it been? How long has this been going on? How long did it take to get the troops together and all the things? So Barak led his 10,000 warriors down the slopes of Mount Tabor into battle. When Barak attacked, the Lord threw Sisera and all his chariots and warriors into a panic. Sisera leaped down from his chariot and escaped on foot. Then Barak chased the chariots and the enemy army all the way to Harosheth Hagoyim, killing all of Sisera's warriors. Not a single one was left alive. Talk about the victory. How did that happen? What do you mean threw them into a confusion? We got to keep reading. Again, remember, when we have some of these questions, we just got to keep reading. They may be answered in the coming chapters as we keep reading through. But isn't that crazy? And God threw them into a confusion. And then none of them lived, except Sisera, who jumped down and got away on foot. Meanwhile, Sisera ran to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite, because Heber's family was on friendly terms with King Jabin of Hazor. Jael went out to meet Sisera and said to him, "Come into my tent, sir. Come in, don't be afraid." So he went into her tent and she covered him with a blanket. Now you've got to understand context here, right, of their day. And you can go to a commentary. Again, there's always one linked in the description. A Bible dictionary may not help you too much with this one, but a commentary or doing some research about these tents. Because in doing some research, actually the women were the ones who put the tents up and were good with the tent pegs and stuff. But also I read that men and women and husbands and wives didn't share a tent. So he's going into a woman's tent. No one would look for him there, right? If he's hiding, like no one would suspect that at all. "Come into my tent, sir. Come in, don't be afraid." So he went into her tent and she covered him with a blanket. "Please give me some water," he said. "I'm thirsty." So she gave him some milk from a leather bag and covered him again. "Stand at the door of the tent," he told her. "If anybody comes and asks you if there is anyone here, say no." Who is this? How did he get there? Is there a huge community? Who all is around? But when Sisera fell asleep from exhaustion, Jael quietly crept up to him with a hammer and tent peg in her hand. Then she drove the tent peg through his temple and into the ground, and so he died. I mean, I'm just reading. I'm reading the details of history that were important to be recorded. This is the details, like tent peg through his temple and into the ground. Ugh. But when Sisera fell asleep from exhaustion, Jael quietly crept up to him with a hammer and tent peg in her hand. Then she drove the tent peg through his temple and into the ground, and so he died. When Barak came looking for Sisera, Jael went out to meet him. She said, "Come, and I will show you the man that you're looking for." So he followed her into the tent and found Sisera lying there dead with the tent peg through his temple. So on that day, Israel saw God defeat Jabin, the Canaanite king. And from that time on, Israel became stronger and stronger against King Jabin until they finally destroyed him. Wow. Right? Wow. Like the details of a story, which just makes me understand even more, like the Bible has details of history and of stories. And what can we learn from Deborah and Barak in that time? I want to share actually from the workbook today, I want to share at least one of the questions with you. Again, you can grab this. It's totally optional, but it'll help you go deeper in these chapters and as we study. And I want to share some of these with you because I think it's important that we examine ourselves in these too. Are there areas in my life where God is calling me to step into a leadership role or to exercise courage and faith, even if it feels unconventional or goes against societal expectations? What encouragement can I take from Deborah? Like, this is Deborah, right? Do you believe that God, whether you're a man or a woman, there may be some place that God's calling you that kind of goes against the norm, that goes against society's expectations, that's a little less conventional, but it's a leadership role that you feel like God is calling you into? Well, what can you learn from Deborah? What encouragement can you take from her? Here's another one. Where have I been, or am I currently hesitant to move forward in faith or obedience because I'm waiting for someone else's affirmation or presence rather than trusting solely in God's command? Yikes. All right, remember Barak was like, I'm not going if you don't go with me. Yeah, but you've been chosen to go, and God said you'll go, and I already said that you'll have the victory. Yeah, but I can't do it alone. I just need you to come with me. I need that extra confirmation. I need that extra affirmation. All right, but then you're not going to get the credit. Some woman's going to kill him, and it's not going to be Deborah. Where have I been, or am I currently hesitant to move forward in faith or obedience because I'm waiting for someone else's affirmation or presence rather than trusting solely in God's command? These are, I'm telling you, when you ask, Kaela, what do you talk to God about when you're out on a hike, when you're out on a walk, when you're just spending time with him, writing in your journal? These are questions that came up from my time in these chapters that I feel like the Lord's challenging me in. So I'm just sharing them with you. And now let me give you your walk it out challenge. Today, put it all on the table. Get out your journal or a piece of paper and write down the hesitations you have. That next phase, chapter, step, what are your hesitations? Now, write down one small step you can take to move forward, knowing God is with you. Oh, and take that step today. Like, get it all out. What are your hesitations? For that job, for that move, for that city, for that relationship, for that YouTube channel to share the gospel. What are your hesitations? Get them all out. Get them all out. God is not worried about what we're insecure about, right? He wasn't worried about that. He was like, hey, you already have the victory. Oh, you don't want to go alone? Fine, but like, you could have. I told you to go. I called you to go. Write down all your hesitations. Like, pour it out. Like, pour it all out. And then just write down one action. I'm not saying make a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a 30-day challenge to do this every day. Write down one action and then take that action today. Trusting God is with you because he called you to it. And he's with you through it. And we already have the victory through Jesus Christ. Ah, God, I thank you for your word and your promises. I thank you for victory. I thank you for victory that we already have through Jesus Christ. Thank you for using people to give us that extra affirmation. Thank you for using people to confirm what you've already said. God, I pray for an increase in our confidence in what we hear from you. I pray for an increase in our boldness in what we hear from you. And I pray over the one watching and the one listening that what has been stirring up in them today, that what they've been feeling insecure or hesitant about, God, I pray that that boldness just skyrockets, that as they write this list of what they've been hesitant in and why, what's holding them back, that they will see that you are with them, that you have called them, that you have chosen them, that you have set them apart, and that they will take a step today, that they will take a step and experience you in it, knowing that you are with them every step of the way, but we have to take the steps. God, I thank you for who you are. I thank you for your goodness. I thank you for the example that you left us in your word with Jesus Christ. Thank you for being our God, our good, good Father. In Jesus' name, amen. Oh, y'all got me pumped up in this one. Like, I truly still want to pour out the hesitations, even though I'm pumped up to move forward, because that's what the enemy is going to keep bringing up. So pour all of those out. pour all of those out. And look, I want you to stay with me. So if you could subscribe to His Word, My Walk, like this video, share this with someone who you know needs this encouragement today too. And then let's move on to chapter 5.